Thanks again, Ganon, for hopping on to another episode of Untapped Stories. I know I was chatting a bit before show and doing some research on your background and the awesome training career that you've built. Maybe to start it off, for parents and athletes, if they've seen your content, maybe they haven't heard from you before in a style like this, just for them to kind of get to understand, who you are. If you can go into a bit about your background, where you grew up, your playing days, and kind of how that ultimately shaped the coach and trainer you became.
Yeah, thank you, Mean Gene, for allowing me to be on your platform. It's a wonderful platform because you spit out inspiration and education. So I grew up in Hampton, Virginia, played for the Hall of Famer Boo Williams, who's an AAU, director, played at Ham High School, won a state championship. A little side note, we beat Grant Hill's team twice my junior year to win the state championship and my senior year to go into the final game, but we were runner-up. Unique story there, man. I was short and white. That's what I heard.
Bad combo for basketball.
Yeah, all the S's. You're short, you're slow, at times stupid. So I replaced them with, servant, skill, smart, strength, stamina, and I ended up getting over 31 D1, a few D2 scholarship offers. I was the only white guy on my JV all the way up, when I graduated high school. So I learned how to fight there, learned how to have some grit and embrace diversity and be different. I played at Duquesne University, made the all-freshman team, started there. Coach ended up getting fired, transferred to UNC Wilmington, started for 2 years there, went through about 3 broken feet. That's another story of resilience. Got a degree, went into college coaching, coached college for about 5.5 years, D1, D2, got a master's in kinesiology, didn't like coaching. Ironically, took a year off sabbatical in Iceland, played professionally, if you can believe it. Did well, had a tibial tendon surgery, out for 7-8 months. Ended up starting my business in the early 2000s, 2001. Got that going, started it in a cast, started training kids in a chair. Not many people noticed that or remember that before social media. And then I gave playing one more shot. Great story here. I'm 30 years old, and I'm at the Denver Nuggets NBA Summer League tryout. And I make it through all the cuts, 250 players, get invited to Summer League, got cut, stayed out there to learn how to train pros. And for the last 26 years, been running my own basketball business. I'm an entrepreneur, been to 6 continents, 53 countries. I have worked out and or broken bread and spent time with about 24 GOATs and or Hall of Famers in the NBA, WNBA. Thus, that's my curriculum and methodology. A lot of the things that I learned as a player, now I can put it into lessons being around these GOATs because, they live it and exude it every day. And I was able to get a lot of experience with them. I'm still doing it. I'm 53 years young, in the best shape of my life, and I just wake up every day not letting the old man in. I'll drop the mic on that. That's enough for the podcast right there, Gene. Right there.
That's perfect.
That nugget I gave people right there will help them for the rest of their year right there, baby. Don't let the old man in.
We could close it up. I love that. So I didn't even think about this before, but I got to ask. We have 3,000 coaches on our platform.
Wow.
You've been doing this for 26 years, though. I don't know if we have anybody with that longevity of a career. I see a lot of younger guys starting off now. What do you think is the main reason you've been able to last for 26 years? Because the coaching industry is tough. It's rewarding, but obviously you're on your feet a lot. It's a drain mentally. I mean, you help kids even the day, which is so cool. But how have you lasted so long?
That's a great question, Gene. And the young guys in this industry, they will get my age one day, and they'll have all the experience I have. I use time as an asset. But I would say 3 things. Number 1, I have an open mind but thick skin. And, I'm a growth learner. I never take the game for granted. Once I master my curriculum, my content, my subjects I teach, I'm always looking to improve. How can I do it better? How can I make what's complex to people even more simple? I think that's the great tool of leaders is we make the complex simple. Yep. We get them to their future self quicker than they could on their own. Number 2, man, I'm tough. I mean, I compete. I'm a fighter. I organically got thrown into that as the only white dude in the gym because you know what? I love ball, and this is what I got to do to be great at it. And so I think, as you said in your question, that's coaching. Coaching is not for the weak. You can't be soft. You can't be insecure. You can't be ignorant, right? You can't be inconsistent. All the kryptonite eyes I talk about, intolerance, inconsistent, insecure. And so you got to fight. You know what I mean? Metaphorically, your players can't check you. They can't match your energy. They can't match your competency. And so you're always going in there caring, right? But with criticism and challenge. And so I'm like, hey, man, here's where I'm at. Meet me eye to eye and then exceed. And that's what the greats I've been around have done. They're like, all right, watch me. I'll show you. And then I'm going to teach you. I'm going to inspire you. It's a partnership. And so it's just freaking being tough, man. It's tough as you get older to still have the agape love, if you know what that means, with basketball. I've been around the game since I was 8. You know what I mean? 4 decades of this game. At some point, man, you hit that law of familiarity and you lose the luster. I never turned off my love. The love is still there. That's why I haven't gone into other industries. And it's just a matter of toughness, learning more, keeping your holistic self in shape. I mean, it's hard to eat right. It's hard to resist temptation and laziness. You got to work out. You got to eat right. You got to have discipline. If you're a good player development coach, or even a coach, your wellness has to be up. I'm not saying you have to look like Sylvester Stallone or, Michael Jordan when you coach, but you have to have some kind of enthusiasm, positive, healthy wellness spirit about you. And number 3, it's having the discipline and the consistency to do number 1 and number 2 that I just mentioned. I remember training LeBron one time, early LeBron when he played for the Cavs. The first go around, I said, hey man, what's greatness? Because I train a lot of young people. You were young at one time. You were great at an early age. What's greatness? He said, man, once you get to, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically he said, once you get the answers to the test, once you figure it out, do it every day. He said greatness is consistency, which again is discipline.
Ooh, man. Those are 3 things I think every coach can lean on. And again, I think a lot of guys and girls, they know it's more accessible nowadays to offer lessons and do coaching, but no matter how many kids you can find, if you don't love it, if you don't have that energy, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, the athletes feed off your energy.
100%.
You know what I mean? You have to be the light in the room. You have to be the salt, as the Bible says. You have to add flavor. It's kids' nature. Like even pros, like it's not all of them, but the average NBA players to an extent, they're not average compared to the world. Like you got to be great to make the NBA, WNBA, but the average NBA players, you got to bring energy to them. The great ones bring it. They feed you, and so enthusiasm and energy, I would say, is a must. Like you can't coach without enthusiasm and energy.
I agree. And I think it sounds like you've trained and coached a lot of high-level players. I'm sure you've coached a lot of college guys, high school guys too, even down to the younger ages. What do you think, having seen so many people over the years rise to the top, what's the one difference between them from a mental standpoint, not a physical standpoint, that helps younger players get over the hump and actually reach the next level? If you were talking to a group of middle schoolers today,
H2O, man, H2O, Gene. 70% of our body is water, right? We can't survive without water. It's the oxygen, right, to life. And so for these greats, they have humility, right? They have like an OCD, like, hey, man, I know I just won the MVP. I just won the Rookie of the Year, but I still got to go work on my game. That's Allen Iverson. He grew up in my hometown, friends with him, grew up with him, trained his son, and he won Rookie of the Year for the Sixers. Week later, he's in my high school playing pickup, guarding guys full court, talking smack, arguing calls. Like, that's humility.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant had a chance to train him early, as a high school kid, and then when he was at OKC with the Nike Skill Academies. The week I was with him, he had 4 workouts a day.
Whew.
Right? 1 with his trainer, 1 with me, 2 with the Ken. Like, that's humility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kobe, I spent 6 days with him, and he would constantly work on one move for like 50 minutes. Like, not, hey, I made 10 out of 10. I'm good. Nah, man, I'm going to make 99 out of 100. I'm going to keep doing it till it's part of my skin. And the second H is hungry. H2, hungry. They're freaking fighters, man. They compete. They keep receipts. Everything's a game. Oh, coach, you beat me to the gym? Watch this. Not tomorrow. Oh, coach, I'm going to work harder than you. Coach, who got the highest score in this drill? No. Let's play again. I lost. No, let me do it again, coach. Like, they have a hungriness to win. And again, losing doesn't affect their self-worth. They compete. They don't complain. And they're curious. Why am I missing? Well, coach, how do I be the best? Coach, you can jump rope. How do you do 4-ball? Coach, you can shoot with both hands. How do I do that? Well, you don't need it. Yeah, man, but I want to get my handle tight like Kyrie. How do I? Like, they're so hungry for the win. But winning it's not the win, more so it's their behavior and the process of, look, I know I can't win everything, but I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going to look like a winner, even if I lose. And so it's humble, hungry, H2, now they're ready for their opportunity. If you're hungry and humble, opportunities find you, and you're so good when you're in that opportunity, people can't ignore you.
I'm taking that one with me. Hungry and humble, opportunity, H2O. Wow. And for parents maybe who are listening again, and I'm with you. I mean, I kind of, like I said, I grew up in the Philly area. I love the toughness, and I can see it exuding from you. Maybe parents who have a kid who's talented, maybe they haven't seen that spark out of them yet. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time. Can you teach that in a kid, and can you bring that out of them, or do they just kind of have it or they don't, based on who they are as their makeup and their family background?
Hell yeah, you can bring it out of them. I mean, Rocky wasn't always tough.
Yeah, true.
I'm gonna give you a personal example. Myself, I was soft, I was silent, I was selfish, I was slow. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, hanging out at the boys' club, being the only white guy. Getting some scars, going through uncomfortable, a little bit of bullying. Parents didn't save me. Boys club teachers, Ann O'Keefe, Mark Cooper, didn't cater me. They coached me, let me fight my own battles, went through a little rawness, right? But I took my punches. I learned how to get up. Failure is not bad. Kids have to, if they never fail or go into a fight holistically, then they'll never learn how to win. And so my parents, organically, whether they meant for this or not, they put me in a situation where I had to fight and I couldn't flee. And I tried to flee. They wouldn't let me. They didn't go to the boys' club. They didn't go to the teachers. They didn't go to the coaches and say, hey, play my son. You're racist. Why don't you play him? You racist? I mean, I was the only white dude, so I was like, Mom, they don't like me. They're racist. And they're like, no, not racist, buddy. Success is colorblind and gender-free. You got to go there and make them feel you. You got to fight. You got to figure it out. You can't transfer. You're tested, right? If you start fleeing, you're just building the habit of quitting and going to something else. And unbeknownst to me, God's plan was he made me to be an entrepreneur. Been making C notes, you know what I mean, for 26 years. I have 2 houses. I have financial freedom, not like you, Mean Gene. I don't have a pension, but I'm doing well as an entrepreneur. But I'm doing even more well as a leader, because I teach toughness as intelligence, and I possess it. You can't give away what you don't possess. So my parents created toughness. I'll give you another one. Grant Hill came from privilege. Mom worked for the White House. His dad was a running back NFL All-Star, so he was rich. But he didn't act like it. He was hungry and humble. I played with him at 5-star. I played against his teams 2 years in a row. He and I are friends, and I trained him. I trained Grant Hill when he played for the Phoenix Suns. Like, he was as tough as they come. Bobby Hurley, middle class. He was a 2-parent household, good middle, like tough as they come. I played against him and his brother Danny, like just tough nuts, because of the environment and the attitude and the culture that their parents created for them. So some people, it's easier for them to be tough. Other people, you have to get it out. But I think everybody has a king or a queen inside of them. It's their choice to get it out on their own or allow other people to help them get it out.
I like that.
Unbelievable. Yeah, like no question. Yes, some people have physical ailments or learning disabilities, no problem, right? But most of us have the ability to be tough. And even the people that have ailments and learning disabilities, they have a sense of toughness and in resilience that they
For sure.
portray. I've done some stuff with Special Olympics. I've done some training of Olympic wheelchair teams. They don't let their circumstance make them a victim, right? So everybody has a chance to be tough and resilient and intelligent. And it's one of the kryptonites that I see. This world has become soft and entitled, and we allow people to mask and live in their own mediocrity, and we enable them and say, you know what, it's okay. Well, it's not okay if you're not doing your best. What's your best? What's your goat? Be your own goat. Let's see where that takes you. Try it out. Try it out for a decade, not a year. Try it out for 10 years, and let's see where being your best can get you. I guarantee you'll change your life and you'll change others.
We had a mental performance coach on a couple weeks ago, and she said it was always chase that big goal and don't be afraid to fail. Because even if you don't get there, if you don't play in the NBA, you don't play college, you'll like the person you become along the way. And I love that. So for any kid listening, it's, not every person's going to get there, but you will become a better person in the process. So
100%. You'll like the person who you become. Because you're not a mistake just because you make one. It's how you respond, and it's what you learn, and then it's what you give away. That's how you defeat depression. You become valuable. You find valuable things. Yeah. And then all right, I've overcome this. I have something valuable, right? Could be a tip on the stock market. Could be, hey, man, I found a way to buy a cheaper house. Whatever your value is, go share it. And that's the solution to depression. Is finding yourself valuable and then go sharing it with the world. And that's all I've done as a coach is I've found lessons and inspirations. I've worked on my communication. I've learned how to tell it. I've learned how to demonstrate it. And I go add joy and inspiration to people's life. And I tell you, man, the dungeon of despair, I ain't never going there. I might visit it, Gene, but depression ain't never staying with me. You know what I mean? And I tell kids all the time, look, depression visits the strong, but it stays with the weak and the soft forever.
I like that.
And the number one killer, number two killer, somewhere around there of teenagers is suicide. Second one is distracted driving. So very, 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 very important that kids find their purpose, find their value, and don't let mistakes, self-inflicted or not, affect their self-worth.
100%. Especially in today's world. There's actually, I know we're wrapping up soon, but one of the questions I planned to ask you, I mean, you coach, I'm sure, thousands of kids, people, and you did it before social media. Do you think social media has any impact, whether it's good or bad, on today's generation? And maybe how can they use it to, to become a better version of themselves and not fall into the traps?
Gene, you were asking great questions, man. I grew up without social media. You're right. Now that social media is upon us, I think good and bad. I think there's a lot of good social media does. Thus, we're here. You and me are here. We're going to share our inspiration, education on social media. So that's the solution. Use social media to impact your intelligence and your toughness, to help your game, to help your life, to use it as an education. I mean, I really believe this. If somebody didn't go to college, they're fine because they can get a doctorate off YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, if they use it the right way. But we're human. So we see a comment and it affects our ego. And so that has our attention. We see some negative stuff, some inappropriate stuff, some superficial stuff that has our attention. And so whatever you feed, right, fuels you. And that's where all of us, me too, have to have that discipline and intentionality of, all right, I'm on social media. I got to stay locked into what I'm looking for.
Yep.
And if you can practice that, you'll maximize the social media platform. I used to hate it. I left a lot of money on the table. I would have been retired, real true story, if I would have used social media the right way, but I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. And I grew up in my business with Twitter, MySpace, right? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. And I never maximized it. So, I learned a lesson. It's one of my regrets in life is what you don't understand, you criticize. What you eventually criticize, you hate. Like, we don't understand something, we start criticizing. Why are you criticizing? Because you don't understand it. That's the root of racism. That's the root of hate. Why are you trolling this guy? You don't know who he is. What? Get to understand him, get to know him, and then making a solid opinion. But I did that with social media, and I'm still grinding, man. My knees feel it.
And from that standpoint too, and we've heard it from a lot of people, you're never, for anybody listening, whether it's a basketball skill or social media, I mean, you're never going to be a pro when you start something, right? And everyone's going to feel dumb, incompetent when they set out on that journey and take that first step. But you have to get over that hump, whether it's learning a new technique for dribbling or better form for shooting. Like, it's hard to get that stuff down, but then you do it for 6 months, a year, years, compound it, and you'll be a pro before you know it. So,
yeah, and a lesson to all the coaches out there or leaders, look, man, your repetitions get you your reputation, right? Whatever you want to be great at, whatever your purpose is, get reps in that. And then eventually that reputation is your best marketer. It gets you in the room, and then it inspires people because, man, he is better than advertised. He exceeded my expectations. Why? Reps. Repetitions equal reputation.
I like that. Maybe the last question, again, and I didn't think about this one until now, but I mean, you have such good experience to share. If you could go back in time to yourself in the early 2000s and you were going to start a training business or coaching business again, because we get a lot of coaches who ask us this stuff, what's maybe one thing you would do differently if you would go back to 2004 and you had to launch this all over?
Two things. Great question. Number one, spend more time maximizing the marketing side of the business, because I started training and nobody was doing it. So I always tell people I had a machete, right, knocking down that path, and I was a pioneer creating the road to training. A lot of people that are training now all over the world have no clue where it came from, who started it, how did it. Well, I mean, that was me. There's a guy every now and then that texts me, Jerry Love, I guess. He says, no, Coach, I was doing it in 95. All right, Jerry. Shout out to Jerry. Phil Handy, who's one of my best friends, coach for the Mavs, 3-time world champion with the Lakers, Raptors. I trained, Kobe and LeBron and Kyrie. He coached them. He was doing it in 98, So I was one of the few that I think took it to the mainstream, went global, did the VCR tapes, DVDs, and I just needed, people say, oh, you're a wonderful marketer. Yeah, but I needed more marketing to bring it back to my platform. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I would have, as an entrepreneur, I would have worked on maximizing my marketing from a revenue standpoint. Number two, I would have spent more. This was hard. I still don't know how I would have done a better job, but I know I could have, spending more time with my assistant coaches. So I had 8, 9 people working for me in Hampton while I was global trotting. And then I lost my local business because they got so good, and I lost, the relationship with them where they just went and did their own thing. 2 became big time college coaches, which I don't know if I would have stopped them from doing that, but 3 of them became world-class trainers. Tyler Ralph in Dallas, Corey Harris in Atlanta, Micah Lancaster in Michigan. They became very, very popular trainers, and so I lost that team because I didn't spend enough time figuring out how to keep everybody together, whether we were Nike, Jordan, or Nike's done a good job with their brand athletes. I consider myself like Nike, and I had all these super trainers, and because I was globetrotting, training with Nike, world class, Olympia. I was all over the place. Didn't spend enough time with them. So those are the 2 things that. And then third thing, physically, I would have stretched more, worked on my body more, because now sometimes it's catching up with me. I just had knee surgery in March. I just got over a tight hip. Took me about a month to get over this tight hip, but I would have done more recovery back when I was in my mid-30s.
I think all three are good lessons, man. It sounds like the Ganon Baker coaching tree. It's maybe like the Coach K coaching tree of training. You got a lot of guys
Dudes out there.
I'm sure learn from you.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes too that learn from me, study me, went to my class 10 years in a row, but like they don't, they don't want nobody to know, and I don't mind talking about that. Like they're insecure about sharing with people who has helped them, that's all. It's like, and I don't say it from a salty perspective, but I've helped there's a lot of dudes that I've influenced and touched, and that's all I need to know. I know that no matter what, I'm impacting, not for them to give me my flowers, although it would help my business a little more with marketing, but more so, hey, I'm doing my job, I'm fulfilling God's anointing and purpose for me. But me and G, 100%, man, I've touched. I just called the coach at Kansas, and he called me right back, and I'm like, man, I haven't talked to this guy in years, but there was a connection. I just moved to Kansas, wanted to go see a game, and this guy called me and I'm like, wow, that's all right, man. That's respect. I put in the work.
Yep.
I've been honorable to the game, and when you give so much of yourself to the game gives back to you.
Yep.
And that's all I need to know is that, you know what, I put a major dent in this player development training business game, and I'm not done yet.
Hey, for what it's worth, man, I've seen you on social for a long time, and I think your content's up there with the best of them. So, if you
we're trying,
ever
man.
need a pat on the back, you've been crushing it.
Yeah, I don't have as many followers as these big time dudes, but we just try to, if we can touch one person with a post or a feed, that's all we want, man. Just change that one.
I live in the Philly area, but I'm telling you, if I was in Kansas, I got two boys, one that's about 3, one that's 1 year old. So when they're old enough to pick up a ball, if I ever live in Kansas, if I'm ever out there, I'm giving you a call for a lesson, man, because they can learn a thing or two from you. You got some awesome experience and good stories.
Thank you, Gene. Yeah, they're young, man. By the time they start figuring it out, want to be serious in basketball, I might be dead. So, but go ahead, man. I'm in Kansas. I love to work with them.
Honestly, again, I appreciate you hopping on, man. I know you got a busy schedule, so thank you for making the time. It was a ton of fun, and pumped to get this one out.
All right, Gene, thank you very much. It was an honor, and if anybody wants to follow me, I'm easy to find, Ganon_Baker_ on Instagram, or just Google me. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm very easy to find, and I would love to answer any questions about life or basketball, help you win.